Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Knitmancy podcast. I am your host Valentina and I'm coming at you from Northern Virginia. You can find me on Instagram as Middle of the Madness and on Ravelry as Knittermancer. So today, first time, I'm a little weird about all this, but I'm sure we'll push through it and keep going. So we'll talk about what I have on my head first off because it is a knitted item. Although I'm not going to be showing a whole lot of previous FOs in this episode. Later on, if I need filler FO, I'll pull out some of my favorite items that I have made over the years. So this is the Hinterland hat by Gabrielle Waitman. And if I'm not mistaken, the yarn is the Sastari, I think I'm saying that right, Mount Vernon collection in Dahlia Red. Beautiful red color, and I think it goes lovely with my hair. And I knit this within the last couple of months. I mean, it's pretty warm outside today, and I only have it on because I'm not a fan of what my hair is doing today. So I'll chit-chat with you a little about the knitting stuff and the other crafting stuff I have that I do. And then toward the end, I'll actually get more into about me personally so that we can, at least you get to know something about me. Okay, so our first item is the ever so popular Find Your Fade shawl. This is mine so far. And I'll talk about my little friend here. So it is the Find Your Fade by Andrea Mowry. And I do have 8 colors. Instead of the typical 7, fudging it a little bit if I need to. So I'll run through all of my colors, show you all the colors, both in the shawl that I have currently and what's coming next. So, first color is Del Rey from Neighborhood Fiber Company on Studio Sock, which is 100% superwash merino. My color number 2 right here is Hedgehog Fibers, Skinny Singles in the Bee's Knees. My color number 3 is actually a bit out of place. I have all this merino. Color number 3 is actually a natural Cotswold from a sheep named Rory, and actually, I have it on the floor behind me. Band for it. From the Ross Farm. I got it at Maryland Sheep and Wool this year. I'm not mistaken. There he is. Apparently he was the baby daddy this year. It's kind of cute. Okay. My colors that are coming up are not skeined up because I took them out because I'm wonderful like that. Le Dame Blanche by Once Upon a Corgi in the Audrey base, which is superwash BFL nylon 80/20. Beautiful blues, greens, browns. There's pinks. Oops. There's some pinks. It's what I like about Rory being in this, because Rory is a nice, warm, off-white cream color. Then after that, I have Dancing Leaf Farms, I think is the producer, Sock Hop in French Garden Party. Cascade Heritage Silk Paints in Forest. And then more singles. I'm not the biggest fan of singles. Both of these are Mini Mochi by Crystal Palace Yarns. This one is Yosemite. This one is Storm Clouds. Some of my first yarns, it's actually first yarns from a local yarn store, which was Old Town Needlecrafts, which is now closed. So I'm currently loving it. It's growing so much for such a short period of time. I am using US size 4 Tiagu interchangeables. The US size 4 is 3.5 millimeter. And I said I was going to mention my little buddy here. This guy, I'm using him as progress keeper, but he's like a little keychain, or it was a little keychain. I stole him off of his little strap. Is Usui from the anime Days. It's a little soccer player. And this is I keep one of the skeins of yarn in this little bag, which is by Daisy Set. Whoop. All right. So my next thing I'm going to share is the Mara shawl by Madeline Tosh, which I have right here. This is a DK weight shawl. It's very simple. Free project on Ravelry. And the yarn I actually hand dyed. It is Knit Pick Swish DK. And I hand dyed it. I have another skein of this. So this is 2 skeins here. I have another skein of it, and I hand dyed it with Easter egg colors. Conveniently. Alright. Now we'll move on to... I have more whips than I ever wanted. In my neighbor... Underground Chic bag, which I got from Fiberspace years ago at this point, which I also use as just my regular bag. So I don't carry a purse. Oops. Is a pair of Fine and Dandy socks, which is by Jessica Gore. I think it's like Sweater Collective or Sweater Collection. Very popular pattern. The yarn I'm using for this is R2 by Nerd Girl Yarns on the O Snap BFL nylon base. Lovely. I love it. And just to run down on the things that I'm doing with my Mara shawl, I'm actually extending the border because I got tired of knitting so much garter stitch with just nothing else. That's being knit on US size 7 or 4.5 millimeter needles, same Chiaogu interchangeables. And then my Fine and Dandy R2 socks are being knit on Chiaogu US size 1, which is 2.25 millimeter, and it's a 40-inch circular needle. I do magic loop. It's just easiest way, and I like to knit my socks 2 at a time. Now for my last knitting work in progress, which I know I've stopped in a bad place, but I gotta show it anyway. So everybody has some sort of scrappy blanket, and just the cozy memories blanket wasn't doing it for me. So I was like, I think I'll just hold on to my scraps and maybe I'll make like a really ugly shawl or whatever. And then I got this pattern, and it was free for a limited time, so of course I picked it up. And it is the Brioche scrap blanket. I love it. I believe this would be our right side. This will be our wrong side. And it's got all sorts of really cool yarns and colors in it. So I'll touch on a couple of really special ones. So I have these 2 squares on the end here, which is Outlander by Wool and Vine Yarns on her narwhal base in it, which is BFL cashmere silk, as well as Hazel Knits on the Divine base, and the colorway is Shark Skin. Together I use these 2 in Ishnik shawl, and I'm probably saying that wrong, by Lucy Haig, and it's one of my favorite shawls to knit. I've knit it twice. Then I have, if I'm not mistaken, this white square is actually a fin sheep sock yarn. Fin sheep on its own, probably not the best for socks, but it's lovely. I know I've got a couple of other ones. I have Glow Cloud on the, by Nerd Girl Yarns on, I might be the Shima base. It's the Gold Stellina. It's a little bit of Night Veil in here. And then I have Lorna's Laces Baker Street and Echo, which was used for, I think it was called the Mystery on Baker Street Mystery Knit Along, which is a cowl pattern and it's lovely. I dropped my ball of yarn. Put that down there until I sort that out. So as well as knitting, which is the obvious reason that you're here, I also spin. I do spin on both drop spindles and a wheel, but my wheel is an antique. It's an antique single treadle Irish drive wheel. That's a bit of a mouthful to talk about, but he's a lovely little bugger. Needs repairs every now and again, but he definitely has his quirks. I love him. His name is Finnegan. And on Finnegan, I have the whole flyer bobbin set up here. I am spinning, it's actually Jacob. I have a whole fleece that I'm processing from a lovely sheep named Avalon, which I picked up at Maryland Sheep and Wool last year. Not very quick on this stuff. Knitting is always going to be the easiest thing for me to just grab and go. I also have, from Maryland Sheep and Wool, and I'll pull this out so I'm not grabbing the bag that's all crinkly, on this Ashford spindle. It is a Fibers of Mass Destruction blend by the Homestead Hobbyist. How's the bag? Yeah, it's a Savage Blend Fiber of Mass Destruction in Bioweapon, which is this lovely green, gray, black. There's some yellow in there, and it is a blend of 50% Corriedale, 25% bamboo, and 25% Tussa silk. It's actually very nice, and I have a couple of skeins of it already spun up, and it's coming out roughly DK. I'm still not entirely sure what I'm going to do with it. I need to ply what's on here. It is a 2-ply. Let me hold these up so you get a better idea. I apologize for the lighting if it gets a little dim here and now and again. I am using natural light. And then finally on a really awesome spindle, to make a lot of noise, that I bought on Etsy from, it's in my show notes. Let me unwind my fiber so that I can actually show what I'm doing. Okay. So on this spindle, which is a 20-gram lace weight spindle by Thomas Wood and Wool on Etsy. They're from Wales, and I always get excited because I'm like, oh, it's my Welsh spindle. It's a really long top roll spindle. I am spinning on this some fin sheep. This fin sheep combed top in the color Desert Sunset, so it's got oranges and grays in it. To me, it looks like BB-8. A little bit of a Star Wars fan. So I'm spinning that, and I'm trying to spin it really thin. You know, making it's almost thinner than some lace weight yarns. Let me pull this off so I can attempt to show you. It's pretty thin. It's like thread in places, but it's lovely, and hopefully I can eventually get that done and knit it into a lovely shawl. I also do some other things. I cross stitch, I sew, I cosplay, which goes along with the sewing. I'm not really going to touch on that. I'm not really going to show those right now because I could spend forever talking about it, and it's really not worth it. So yeah, I play with my nose ring. Go team. So now I'll just talk a little bit about me while I have time. So, as I said, I'm Valentina. I am from Northern Virginia, Manassas area. You know, I can go drive down to the battlefield, and it's really neat just to spend the day walking around there. I'm actually a history major, and I go to school in West Virginia, which puts me about an hour and a half-ish away. So I'm actually there studying Civil War, 19th century America. Fun stuff. I've been knitting for, I think, about 3-4 years. I've been crocheting for 5-6 years. So I learned to crochet first, then switched over to knitting. I don't do a whole lot of crochet anymore, unfortunately. Just I don't see it as, it's not as easy for me to feel like I've made something that I can use or wear when I'm crocheting. I would like to point out that I am kind of clumsy. Oops! I drop things, I fall a lot. I've had 2 moderately bad falls this year alone, which is unfortunate. So I know you keep seeing my hand, and it's pretty bad joke that it's my zombie hand, because I fell and needed stitches. Good team. So this will actually clear up, and you won't be seeing me with zombie hand for much longer. I'm also a huge nerd. If you can't tell by my background, I have all sorts of like prints and stuff. Some of the stuff, I mean, this covers most of my wall. I figured this was a better background than me sitting in front of my yarn, which would not have been nearly as exciting and fun. So, I mean, I'm a nerd, I cosplay, I watch anime, I play video games, read comic books, all the good stuff. I'm hoping actually that, not hoping because I'm going to do it, I have to minor in something, so I'm going to minor in computer and information sciences so I can learn programming. So again, big nerd, I like to play the video games. How cool would it be to be able to add programming video games to my repertoire of weird and wacky stuff I do. I also have this nasty habit of, I like to get myself pierced. Currently I only have my septum as well as a couple of ear piercings. So I have my industrial as well as my conch. Conch is still healing, and I'm hoping to get it on the other side as well. So in case I come on and I'm complaining about pain, it's self-inflicted-ish. I go to somebody qualified to pierce me. But I mean, that's not something I will talk a whole lot about, except for in these little segments at the end where I'm talking about myself, my day, my week, whatever. Other important things, I am a Ravenclaw. I have a Ravenclaw shirt on, which is awesome. Huge fan of Outlander. Actually have an Outlander pendant on, not that you're going to read that. See, I do stream on Twitch, of course, because I'm a weirdo. It's all in the family. And we're going to see where this keeps going, and hopefully I keep it up, and hopefully we can make it, if not weekly, bi-weekly, and just have this huge, big, fun knitting, crafting family. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. I'm not going to see you, you're going to see me. And that's it. Bye!